Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you. I am Anand, welcoming you all on behalf of Solar Quarter and First Week Group to our webinar on C&I Solar Projects Market Outlook, Bahrain edition. Thank you all the attendees for joining us today. I hope you have a great time networking with your peers in our discussion table. If you have not visited, no worries. The platform will be open till 1 p.m. today, so you can start networking. So, before starting today's proceedings, I take this opportunity to thank and welcome our partners for this event, Huawei. Now, I request my team to please play the sponsor video.
It that takes us further into the future. It exists in every visible detail. And somewhere in the unexplored possibilities. We imagine countless times that dry deserts become lush oases. And now it has become a reality. Sunlight spur a new ray of hope. Make the earth green and breathe new life everywhere. The size from rural to urban areas get simplified gradually. Conserve the nature and ensure seamless connectivity. Turning complexity into simplicity. Modular construction of data centers is designed for an intelligent digital world. To unleash cloud computing potential and to accelerate the smart future. Speed up for future transport. For every pleasure travel, green power is used to achieve an excellent experience. Modular power can be highly integrated and applied everywhere. To light up the moments you are looking forward to. Bring unlimited possibilities and make life better and convenient. Huawei Digital Power. Preserve Earth with technologies. For zero carbon, smart society.
Thank you. Thank you, team, for playing the video. Now, without any further ado, I'd like to invite Mr. Karthik Kumar from Huawei Digital Power to give his presentation. Karthik sir, please share your screen.
Sure. Just give me a moment. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you so much. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, Karthik Kumar. You can call me Kumar comfortably. I'm representing Huawei Digital Power, precisely for Fusion Solar in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. Today, the presentation will be covering mainly three agenda: the company introduction, covering Huawei C&I solution, and the product portfolio we are catering to the C&I market. As Huawei Fusion Solar, as you see, we incorporated in 2013. Since incorporation, we have been continuously innovating our products and solutions for different PV scenarios, adaptable to different harsh environments globally. As you see, adapting to high temperature, higher humidity, low temperature, higher altitude, and also adapting to the different grid environments. This is possible through continuous learning from our customers globally, which helps us to bring unique solution and values to our customers. So with this, this helps us to achieve a great achievement with rank number one consecutively from 2015 till date in terms of shipment, global shipment. As you see, we have deployed more than 200 gigawatts globally, which helped to generate around 470.2 billion kilowatt hour green power, which helps to reduce 230 million tons of carbon emissions. As we now we are the whole globe, Earth moving towards net zero. So as you see, Huawei Fusion Solar, we cater into all application scenarios like such as residential, commercial, and industry and utility scale. Today, we will focus more on commercial and industrial application. Uh, so let me take you to the C&I solution, what we operate from Huawei Fusion Solar. As you see, the application scenarios with a small scale of, let's say, less than 100 kilowatt PV system, we offer end-to-end solutions from inverters, the monitoring, smart monitoring platform, the communication unit, and with a 600 watt smart PV optimizer, as you see, which is more adaptable to the high power modules. So in the applications such as the large scale C&I application projects like up to megawatt scale, we have high density inverters, which is 100 kilowatt inverter with a smart logger communication unit, which is more adaptable to connect more number of inverters in terms of megawatt scale projects. So let me talk about the quite interesting features what we are offering to our customers in terms of optimal electricity cost, the active safety, and better experience. So when I talk about the optimal electricity cost, there are three major parameters which contribute to the optimal electricity cost. One, by adapting to the smart PV solution with a higher efficiency product and reducing the mismatch between the strings will help to improve the yields. And in terms of BOS, by adapting to the smart PV optimizer, as I mentioned earlier, we have a 600 watt PV optimizer that helps you to improve the module level power, and also it can adapt to connect more number of modules per strings. That helps you to bring down the overall BOS cost. And as you see, our smart PV solution, which comes with no vulnerable parts and with a higher availability rate and low failure rates, and even adapting to our online smart IV curve diagnosis tool, you can bring down the O&M cost significantly. So as you see, these are the three major parameters that will contribute to optimize the electricity cost. As I mentioned to you, the smart PV optimizer, by using smart PV optimizer, you can increase the energy up to 30% more by optimizing your the power of each module itself. And the another function, which is the very key function, is the PID recovery function, which is inbuilt, with all the C&I application inverters, as you see here. Sorry, guys, I'll be running quite fast because I have just 10 minutes slot, so I'll be trying to cover up as much as possible. And the other key concern today I would like to cover is the active safety. As you see, our Huawei Fusion Solar is incorporated with AFCI functions with the maximum detection current up to 26 ampere and 200-meter range, which is well beyond the industry standards. As you see here, in terms of direction range, we can go up to 100, and we are 150% better. And in terms of maximum detection range, we are even 62% better compared to the industrial standards. And even with this, adapting to the PV optimizer, you can enable 0 volt shutdown, and also pinpointing the exact arc fault in within the module itself.
Hello.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir, please continue.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, so coming to better experience, thanks to advancement of the power electronics infused with AI technology, and we are adapted to natural cooling of the inverters itself with better communication architecture, which helps to which helps to improvise the digitalization between the customers and the system itself, which helps to bring more better experience to our customers. The another key factor, the important tool that helps to enhance the better experience to our customers is the smart IV curve diagnosis, which helps to identify 14 types of module faults, and helps also, you can diagnosis by online within 2 minutes, and you can able to generate the whole diagnosis report in the matter of a few minutes compared to the conventional type diagnosis. So this will also helps you to reduce the O&M cost significantly. Now, coming to the product portfolio, as you see, this is the overall range of product portfolio. As you see here, we are catering to C&I scale. So you can feel free to contact me post to this session related to any queries about the products. You can reach me out anytime. So with this, I'll be concluding my session, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this knowledgeable presentation. Now, moving forward, I'd like to invite Mr. Oscar, sir, from Yellow Door Energy to give his knowledge presentation. Oscar, sir, you can share your screen.
Sure. 1 second. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much for hosting this event today, Kumar, and thank you for the sponsors as well. My name is Oscar. I'm the BDM for Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, and I would like to show you this presentation quickly. I only have 10 minutes, so I'll just browse through it. So the agenda today, a little bit about the market insights, about Yellow Door Energy, what is a power purchase agreement, and then the summary. So opportunities and challenges that we face in Bahrain, just to mention a few, you have the harsh weather condition, the extreme heat, the humidity, of course, also the sand soiling is a big issue. Only a handful experienced solar contractors are currently in the market. People are still reluctant to turn into solar. They don't want to be the first one to step into this, so they tend to wait till the neighbor does it first. And with the current EVA tariffs, there's quite limited savings currently. So hopefully the EVA tariffs will go up in near future. Opportunities. So obviously the government is backing this up with their target of having a net zero carbon emission to net zero by 2060. Setting up a business in Bahrain. As everyone knows, business friendly Bahrain, as they say. Smooth permitting process with EVA is so we haven't faced any issue with EVA. And of course, the year-round sunshine that we have here in the Middle East. So, why not use this sunshine for something good? So our vision. So we were founded in 2015 in UAE and Jordan. We just recently opened our office in Bahrain. However, we've been in the market for longer. We currently have 120 megawatts of commercial industrial projects that are either under construction or are under construction or are commissioned. We also have offices in UAE, Jordan, Saudi, and Pakistan as well. These are our shareholders. I think the audience probably know all of them, so I'm not going to explain much further. It's pretty much self-explanatory. These are our senior executives that are based in UAE. You have Jeremy Crane, our CEO and founder. He's a great leader that we have. He has also, extremely experience with him, and he also has won several entrepreneurship awards in this renewable energy sector in UAE. This is the team in Bahrain. However, we also look after the Saudi market at the moment. You have Khalid, who is leading or looking after those two markets. You have Mazen, our project manager. And then you have Brijesh, who recently joined us as senior design engineer, and myself as BDM. So I think key. We try to educate the customers or potential customers as much as possible, because I think that's the key to success. So we try to attend such webinars like this, for example, or conferences and summits, to get the word out there to the market. Some initiatives that we have done: we've planted some trees in UAE, given back to the community with iftar meals. Plus, we try to educate the younger generation to be sustainable leaders for them as well. Some of our success stories, these are not all of them. It's just to give you an idea who we've been working with. This is our first project that we've signed in Bahrain, together with Majd Al Futtaim and Carrefour. It is currently the largest private solar plant in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And you will see some progress on Bahrain Mall. I believe they're going to start the construction in January. So you will see some progress there, which is fantastic for our future customers, so they actually have something to look at. This is a project that we've done for Apicorp, also one of our shareholders, which is still in progress. We've done a rooftop solar for them and an energy savings contract. Furthermore, UAE, some of our projects, you can see we've been working with large brands such as Unilever and Nestle, Greenhouse and Al Namuda. Some of our projects in Jordan, you can see they've mostly been built out in the desert and wheeled the electricity into the cities. And some of our projects in Pakistan. So what is a power purchase agreement? So a PPA, power purchase agreement, is a long-term contract where we give a 90% performance guarantee. There's no capital expense needed from our clients, so they don't have to invest anything into this. They just have to pay their monthly solar bill to us, obviously at a reduced rate if you compare to EVA. With that said, we also take care of the maintenance, cleaning. Should there, God forbid, something goes wrong with the solar panel, if it breaks or whatever happens, we will also replace that immediately. It is in our biggest interest to produce as much energy as possible for our clients. So it's a really win-win situation for both clients and ourselves. This is an actual picture of our head office in Dubai. This is a sustainable energy asset management system. We call it SEAMS. So each completed project, we can monitor on these screens and see how they perform. Remember, I mentioned just earlier, we give a performance guarantee of 90%. So, we need to make sure that all of our sites are running smoothly and overperforming, of course. The customer also receives a Yellow Door Energy app on his phone, where he can monitor his own solar system via his Yellow Door app. Some additional technologies. So we don't only offer, solar. We also offer energy savings, energy storage, water, EV chargers, etc. So this was the presentation. So if you have, if you want to get in contact, here are the details. Give me a call anytime. Should it be for Saudi market or Bahrain market? Please give me a call and we can discuss further. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this insightful presentation and for setting the tone for today's event. So now it's time to begin our much awaited panel discussion, which is on C&I Solar Projects Market Outlook of Bahrain. And to discuss this, we have in the panel with us Mr. Karthik Kumar from Huawei Digital Power, Mr. Oscar Lousa from Yellow Doe Energy, Mr. Ibrahim Radhi from Green Innova, Mr. Siva Kumaran from Sun Energy Solar. The discussion will be led by Karim Megharbi from EPDA. A note to all our attendees: please share your question in Q&A section, and our panelists will take them up at the end of this discussion. Now, I welcome all our panelists on the screen and request Karim sir to lead the discussion. Karim sir, over to you.
Thank you very much, Anan. So, good morning or good afternoon to everyone, and to the speakers and to the audience. So, I'm very happy to host the session today. And if you're okay with that, we can start with a short present introduction. So I will just ask you to introduce yourself and the company you are representing, your activities, and then we can start with few questions. So let me introduce myself. So I'm Karim Megarbi. I'm the executive director of EPDA. EPDA, it's an origination platform active in solar and wind. So especially in Asia, Central Asia, um, Southeast Asia, Europe, and a bit of Africa. So origination means that we source projects for investors. Usually the size is above, let's say 20, 50 megawatts, and it can go up to 100, 150 or different portfolio of transactions. This year we have closed 207 megawatts in 5 different countries, and we'll have a target of reaching a cumulative sourced closed transaction by the end of next year of 500 megawatts. So we're not very active in the C&I sector, although actually we do have some projects, like for example in India, and I understand that actually in the Middle East, this segment is very much active. Why it's active? Because basically you have the radiation is extremely high, and you do have large surfaces you do have large rooftops on the industrial buildings. So it's a very good opportunity for this country to actually get rid of this dependency on oil, and also actually reach LCOE, which are very low for consumers. Now you do have technical challenges, and let's discuss that and see how do you feel the market is in Bahrain, and what is the perspective. So I will just name you in the order I see you on my screen. So well, Kartik, actually now since you have made the presentation, everyone knows you, but maybe just a short introduction is fine.
Sure. Thank you, Karim. Pleasure to know you through this session. Myself, Karthik Kumar. I'm the country manager for Saudi Arabia and Bahrain for the Huawei Fusion Solar. We comes under the Huawei Digital Power. You might have seen the introduction video about Huawei Digital Power. We recently formed an independent business unit which will be focusing more on the green energy business, which comes covering solar, EV chargers, data centers, eyesight power, and module power. So these are the 5 major business that will covers under the Huawei Digital Power. So that's it. So I'm representing Saudi Arabia and Bahrain market for the renewable business.
Okay, thank you very much, Siva Kumaran.
Hi, all of you. Hope I'm audible. I'm Siva Kumaran. I'm the project manager from Sun Energy Solar WLL from Bahrain. We are registered consultants from EVA, and we do solar projects. And main motto of the company is to bring in newer technologies into the market. As compared to other countries, we see Bahrain as a new market to solar. Just a new one just starting with solar, when other countries have already been doing bigger projects. So we try bringing in new technologies into the solar market, and we all have also installed a few projects, and we have done a few carports in Bahrain. So that's us, and I handle the technical side of the company. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Oscar?
Yes, hi, Karim. Thank you. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Oscar. I'm the BDM for Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. As you saw from the presentation, we offer our clients PPAs, so for solar and also energy savings. So I look forward for this panel. Thank you, Karim.
Great, thank you. And Ibrahim?
Hi, my name is Ibrahim Radi. I am a board member at Green Innova. Green Innova is a certified solar contractor in Bahrain, and that we provide solar installation and operation and maintenance. Our other division is energy efficiency. So we look at taking the companies in a journey of reducing the energy requirements at a given establishment, and then power them with the rest of solar or renewable energy. We are also having a new divisions of carbon calculation. So reaching to the net zero goal is one of our services as well that we help companies. We are not limited with the solar PV installation, but we have other also product like solar light, solar water heater. We have established major projects into that area, and we are also approved energy efficiency, contractor by UNDP Bahrain.
Great. By installer, also, do you develop the lease scheme? Like, for example, you invest yourself and you sell electricity to your customers, or are you providing a system provider?
For us now, we help companies achieving leads certification. So, for example, our last project was the Bahrain Airport. We help them with thermal insulation system in order to reach lead gold.
Okay, thank you very much. So, okay, so let's start the discussion. So, well, just to put together the context, I mean, the oil and gas. I mean, Bahrain has oil and gas, obviously, but it's not like in the first 10 producers in the world. I think if I remember, it's like 60 or 70 rank in terms of oil reserves. That being said, it's a country that is highly dependent on oil and gas to produce electricity, and so this says there are few reasons why it's not a long-term viable strategy. Since first of all, you have this energy transition scheme where actually the demand and everyone will try to transit actually from oil and gas to renewable energy, but also now with this the systems, the cost of the system, it's very low price actually that we can achieve, and therefore it's now in the MENA region. It's even lower. So for ground-based system, it's even lower than the marginal cost actually of gas, and therefore there is absolutely no reason why you would actually burn gas to produce electricity. You can keep actually the capacity there and try to try to follow actually the intermittency of solar, but there's no reason why when you have solar available, you would simply burn gas or even oil actually. So now Bahrain, it's a small country in terms of population and capacity installed. So my first question is like, I think the total capacity is even lower than what has installed in just one plant, the UAE actually, with 2 gigawatts. So my question is, why you don't have like Bahrain in 2 years, only with solar actually? So Ibrahim, just if you can let us know, what's your view actually on the market in Bahrain, and what are the key, I would say, factors that would first trigger the interest of Bahrain? Because there's always a trigger
Sure.
why a country would go there, and what are the key drivers actually for the coming years?
Um, well, I think in Bahrain, the story has really started in 2016 or 2014 to 16, where there was an increase in the tariff, okay, or the plan for increasing in the tariff, okay. And before of that, the electricity tariff was almost the lowest worldwide. So, we were having charging 3 fils per kilowatt. So that was
Which is in dollar? Which is in dollar? Sorry, in dollar, how much it is?
maybe 1 cent, something like this.
1 cent, huh?
Maybe, yeah. So 3 fils per kilowatt. Now it's 29 fils. So it has been really, increased almost 10 times. Um, the commercial and industry was 16 to 29. Okay, but from the commercial residential side. But so this is where the start. We were lucky by that time also. The energy sustainable unit was established. Okay, and with their establishment, okay, there was coming and approved policies. Um, Net metering was the very first policy that has been approved in the market, and with that coupled with the reduce in the solar system component, then that drive really the business. That drive the business in a way that companies start to see it somehow economically viable. Before it was not economically viable, especially without the net metering policy. So with that, we have some early adapters. So we have Bobco as the very first company that adapted solar system with a 5 megawatt, and we are proud to say that we are working and maintaining their system. Then you have GPIC coming on board, Batilco, Medal Cable, and many other industry. Also, we have seen malls, as Oscar was mentioning. We have seen hospitals coming on board, the schools, and the major really driver was government. Around 40 industry, 40 entities shows their interest into this. So that policy really put that driver force to adapt it. But as we go along, Kareem, I think in the future, what will drive it even farther, other further policies. We are yet to have feed-in tariff in place. We are yet to have mandated, renewable into the energy mix. So each developer will have to have somehow in solar or renewable in their projects, and that will going to be a major big game changer, in the market. So, giving that these two policies on board, you go along that companies or the early adapters will start having a competitive advantage. A mall that has a solar into it, after 5, 8, 10 years materializing its return on investments, will have its power for free. Whereas the early, later adapters, then it will be coming a competitive advantage. Companies will start pushing even farther, in a way that adaptation. Um, by the end of 2016, which is our target in Bahrain, reaching to nearly net zero carbon. Okay, I think all companies, even now, has been asked to showcase their roadmap to reach to net zero. Okay, so why I'm saying the future as well. Uh, Sooner or later, the adaptation of solars will come. So it's really, the drivers will be stringing more and more as we go along. So the early adapter is really going to enjoy the most.
Thank you, Ibrahim, for this very comprehensive overview. So please feel free, anyone, to interrupt or react whenever you feel.
Yes.
Sivakumaram, so what's your view? I mean, as a consultant, do you see actually this trend actually coming like a boom actually in the sector in Bahrain, or is it starting slowly, or what are the key, I would say, challenges that the companies today are facing to adopt solar?
First of all, in the technical point of view, when I go meet our customers now, the number of leads that we get have improvised. Many people are coming forward asking. There are many inquiries flooding into our company, asking us to make a site visit to go solar. That's good. It was not like that 2 years back. So now we are getting too many inquiries. And there's one more thing. When you take up a project and you start executing the project, what is lagging in Bahrain, what I see is lagging in Bahrain, is that the technical strength. You don't find a lot of technical engineers working on solar in Bahrain. You'll have to work with a normal electrician or a normal civil person or a mechanical guy. Even to find a small solar DC cable, it is difficult. So things related to solar are very limited in Bahrain. There was one project I remember, we started well and we didn't have MC4 connectors, the special connectors which are used for solar installation. We didn't find them anywhere in Bahrain. It starts like this, like we don't have the right people inside the technology. The people who know the technology are very limited inside Bahrain. And even if you find people, then you don't have aluminium profiles, you don't have the solar related components. And now I see market is building up. At the same time, we should also bring in all these components inside, so it is easily available for us to work on projects. So I see the market has started, the bubble has started growing bigger now.
Okay, great. Oscar, so sorry, I'm not sure if it's right to say that the UAE is the most dynamic market in CNI in the MENA region. I mean, I don't know. I mean, not MENA, but in the GCC actually. Is it correct to say that, or?
I'm not familiar with the UAE market, but it most probably could be. However, I think in near future, I think Saudi Arabia can be quite a big
Yes.
market as well. If they change the tariffs, the industrial tariffs is 18 halalas. I think they are paying at the moment. So if they would increase that, I think it would be make sense. Or it would be even bigger market, I think.
So I know that many companies like yours actually, you're eyeing Bahrain actually as an interesting market, and based on your experience and capacities and so on. Obviously, you are one of the groups that can have a very good advantage to develop in Bahrain. And we heard about the remark from Siva Kumaran saying that there is technical lacks in improvements actually to be made actually locally, but
Yes.
the presence of experienced groups like yourself could actually very quickly actually solve this issue somehow. So I'm
Yes.
just wondering, why do you see that, where do you see the market actually in Bahrain, and in terms of price especially, because I understand that, as Ibrahim said, you do have, it's important to have the proper policies, like a mandatory mix, etc. But at the same time, you can see actually that the development in the GCC, they are mostly based on economics. It should make sense economically, right? And you do
Yes.
have regulatory framework which are mandatory, such as net metering, feed-in system, etc., to embody actually and have the proper framework. So
Yes.
where do you see that actually? If you go tomorrow to Bahrain and you say, okay, the PPA price would be this, is it competitive, and what's the different challenges that you see?
No, I think both Siva Kumar and Ibrahim mentioned it earlier. There are a lack of experienced contractors that are out there, and we really hope there are more coming into the market. It will make our job much easier, and also more, obviously the more contractor, obviously the price wise is obviously can be more competitive. Regards to tariffs, I really hoped the tariffs does go up for Bahrain, obviously that will help us and will give us higher savings for our customers. Currently, we can give them anywhere between 10 to 20% on savings with a 29 fils tariff, and we really hope this we can increase that in near future. And it's also important to understand, when on the customer side where they see the 10 to 20% reduction on the utility bills, this is based on the 29 fils. So I think it's important for the customer to think long term, because long term, obviously, the savings will be higher. Due to EVA will most probably increase their tariffs in near future, hopefully. So and for whoever, as mentioned with Siva Kumar, and he's mentioned that customers are a bit reluctant, which is understandable. It's a big change they go into. So, but we try at Yellow Door Energy to make it as smooth as possible, and yeah, it's it.
So you mean that currently today you do have savings, right? So before, as Ibrahim said, that you have somehow subsidized, right? In many countries, that's a big that's an issue where the price for consumers do not reflect what the prices for consumers do not reflect the real cost of energy. Then obviously
Yes.
you're competing against something which is not at the same level as solar. Or as as a market price. But now with 29, you are actually below the consumer price. So meaning that today, if you don't go for solar, you're losing money. That's correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. So Kartik, I mean, you made a great presentation, and obviously you touched upon all these the key topics, especially the technical topics. I mean, people are scared somehow, about having some solar systems on their roof. What's going to happen, etc. So first of all, how do you see the market in Bahrain, and how do you see the consumers' reactions regarding the technical side? Actually, what's the most important things for them?
All right. So thank you, Karim. So as I see from my perspective, the Bahrain market is quite premature in terms of adapting to the latest technology. As you bring, because since the market is just opening up, and the consumers tends towards to see the payback period. So that the LCOE is a key factor in terms of consumer, or I would say as a developer perspective, the LCOE plays a major role. So and then moreover, adapting to these technologies, maybe it helps consumers to move towards the C&I market. So from a Huawei perspective, yes, we see a big potential way forward in Bahrain. We see, we're bringing more values to our customers in terms of safety, reliability, and adapting to the latest technology, digitalization of the whole PV system. So that helps to bring a better experience to our customers as well.
Thanks. And what's your current experience in Bahrain? I mean, I don't know actually what's the current capacity installed. Have you already have the opportunity?
No, we have few references in Bahrain. As seen, it's not such a big market compared to the other regions like in Saudi or UAE, Jordan. So we see Jordan and UAE is very mature market. And as Oscar has mentioned, that Saudi is going to be the one of the huge potential which we see in the future. But Bahrain is yet to open up. As you see, the tariff rate, I've seen 29 fils, which is quite competitive. I think way forward, if they reduce the subsidies of the electricity, I think this will enhance the momentum even further.
Okay, thanks, Kartik. And so Ibrahim, how do you see? I would say one of the potential key challenges is about how solar is perceived by the utility, because somehow if you start the net metering system, or if you consume your electricity, then it's a lot of loss of revenues, right, for the utility. And not only that, but you do have technical challenges if the utility is not well prepared, because these are new decentralized systems in their grid, and you have many difficulties, right? Not only intermittency, but also security, protection, and all these standard, etc. So you do have to adapt everything, so to make sure that solar is appropriately integrated in the grid. So how do you see the government and the utility? I mean, the utility first. Looking at solar. Are they like on board? Let's do solar. Or
I think, when it stands to utility, we have one single source, which is EWA, Electricity and Water Authority. They do have their own, privatized companies that, generate the power. And they have, an agreements of minimum required purchase power. You get my point? So that's will put some kind of, not reluctant, but something to think of in terms of the loss of opportunities of their potential. However, on the front end, we see EWA as a regulator of this market is very, I would say, promoting. They themselves are adapting it in different type of even innovative projects that the CEO was promoting. One of the oil that the water tanks was fully solared. Okay, our relationships in terms of inspection of our, when we implement, we apply for connecting with the grid. We see very good collaborations with the inspectors. We see good responses. It has some its difficulties because of it's as a new systems everybody, but otherwise no. Even EWA and the e-government has established an online system right now to smooth even the processes of getting your application approved, and so far is I believe the mandates that or the direction coming from the cabinet, from the government, is really pushing for that. And in COP 2060, the Prime Minister, His Excellency, the Crown Prince, has actually doubled the target of renewable, and made a huge commitment, okay, on moving forward in Bahrain. And that has, translated into some, smoothing some of the processes in governments to push for, solar system adaptation in the market.
okay, it's very interesting. So, Siva Kumaran, when you go to make your design, I mean, are you also doing the system design? Or
Yes.
okay, so when what's the potential actually in Bahrain? So because obviously these C&I projects, you have two types. One is ground-based systems. I think
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, green Yellow Door, you have also some I think in Saudi, no, you have a ground-based system providing electricity to a factory or something like that, no, in CNI.
In Saudi Arabia, not at the moment, no.
No,
We only have currently
but you have, I know, or it's in Jordan. You have a country where you have a ground-based system.
Jordan.
Actually, it's in Jordan. Yes. So you have
Jordan is.
this system, ground-based system, and directly connected to a factory, a consumer, or you have also on the rooftop. Okay. So
No. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
so
Go ahead, please.
what's the potential for you of the market? So, for example, industrial buildings, do you have a lot of potential? Flat roof, and also what are the key technical elements that need to be taken into account when you design the system, and which are, I mean, I don't know if there is any specificities actually in Bahrain compared to other countries.
Yeah. So see, basically the rooftops, and most of the time it's the carports that we try designing. First reason is because solar is new to the market, and somebody who wants to go solar wants to install a solar small plant first and then extend it to a bigger one. And when you install it inside campus on a rooftop or as a carport, you can simply connect it to the customer's grid itself. You don't have to spend extra on the transmission part, or you don't have to take any extra permissions to lay transmission lines. So this becomes easier when a rooftop comes in. It becomes easier for us to design and install it for that thing. But when it comes to deserts where big lands, we do design some bigger projects, but there the challenges are it's in a very remote location, bringing the material in and then sourcing material from other countries. For example, we buy cables from Saudi, which are not available most of the time, not available in Bahrain. So for bigger installations, when it is done on a utility scale in a ground, becomes more challenging than the same size being installed on a rooftop. Rooftops are much more easier to design and install.
I will add here a point, Kareem. I think, it's all in terms of the market of commercial and industry. It's all will return back to the payback period and the return on investment. Okay, so what we have seen that, all companies are geared towards rooftop because of its, higher viability, economical viability. And we have the APP are very supporting in that domain because they will show also a higher saving. Is that right, Oscar, right? Having this push, the carports, the car parks is well, but solar rooftops is really dominating. Also, take into consideration the scarcity of land in Bahrain. We are now going to build another 6 cities, another 5 cities in the sea because of the limited, space or populated. So our populated area will be increasing by 40%. And that is also show that, ground mountains will not be something of attractive, especially for the commercial and industry market.
But now in Singapore you have floating system solars, floating solar systems. So
yes.
The next step for Bahrain is like having an island of.
Absolutely. No, I think there has been some studies in sustainable energy authority in that domain. We could swim with some solars around.
Okay, and
That's an interesting view.
So okay, Oscar. So where so do you confirm that actually this solar system on the rooftop for industrial and commercial? So there's scarcity of land, so you're not looking at the ground-based system at all, or are you? Because okay, recently somebody from Bahrain approached me and they were willing to design, look at solar actually on the rooftop, and it was, I think, in an industrial area. But there was some, I mean, he said that there was some land actually available within the industrial area, so meaning that you could have some, ground-based system also providing solar to the whole industrial area somehow, but then there was some challenges. I mean, I asked some questions about the regulatory framework because basically it's not the same, providing electricity to one consumer or putting the land in the propriety, the ownership of where the ownership is the industrial park, somehow, and you provide electricity to the industrial park. So I don't know what kind of regulatory framework you have. So, yes. Oscar, do you see the regulatory framework as a challenge? Is it appropriate? Do you have, everything in place to do whatever you want, or?
I think we haven't done a ground mount yet in Bahrain, and regards to the rules and regulations in Bahrain, I'm not 100% familiar with them. However, I think since it's quite a new quite a new market, and it's new for the regulators as well. I think they could be a bit more, or they are in place. However, I think they could be a bit improved, a bit more open, I think. And adding to Ibrahim regarding rooftop and limited land, we see that most of our clients are, of course, commercial industrial clients. They usually have big roofs, and as soon as you add car park to your system or to your design, the savings reduces significantly, to a point where there is no savings at all, since there is investment needed for the car park structure. There's more civil work that is required. So we really try to focus on rooftops. However, if the client is not looking at savings, they're just looking at the sustainable side of it, and then we're happy to give them a carport structure besides the rooftop solar as well.
I will add here, Karim, if you recall my first comment, the feed-in tariff policy is not yet there. So what you have been proposing, a land area for the industrial, so companies could make sharing. It's not yet there, but it will be. It will be. It is in the plan of our national, renewable energy plan. So that will be soon, available, I think, in Bahrain. But what is smartly, we have, one of the 100 megawatts installation, they have designed it on the dump area. So we are utilizing, this area, which is, let's say that it has its very low value, that you cannot make a proper development into it. So with that, ideas putting it, that area will be, economically viable, because the price of the land.
Okay, and so Oscar, the car park, when you look at the LCOE, are you counting everything? Because some if your clients actually they want to install a car park anyway, so what's the LCOE is based on the extra cost, meaning that on the extra cost compared to a normal car park, then there is no saving, or it's the whole thing which is no saving at all?
No, it's due to the investment since we need to invest more into, so let's say if you have a rooftop solar, there's only a structure, a simple structure that is required for roof. However, as soon as there's car park, it's a bigger investment required. Cables, for example, they need to be underground, so there's civil work, more civil work. So all this adds to the investment, and that will obviously then end of the day hit the tariff of the client.
Okay, interesting. And just to come back to your remark, Ibrahim, actually in the UAE we have the same development. I think, Oscar, correct me if I'm wrong, it's Biha that is developing actually a solar system on the dump, actually, the wasteland, actually, like 40 megawatts. This is very interesting projects, actually, because obviously the land is has no value at all, actually. So
so in that perspective, at least for one time, we are higher than UAE. We are planning for 100 megawatts.
Yes, correct. Good. Kartik, these modules, this is for you, right? This is your project, no? 100 megawatts. It's a good market, no?
Absolutely.
And so, what's the story? This is, Sivakumar mentioned that it's remote areas, then it's difficult to bring cables and so on. But this is part of your job, no? To the logistics and everything. So do you see that as a challenge? Putting aside, tell us first of all the impact of COVID. I guess, is it still there? And in terms of logistics, I understand that from my little knowledge that you have some issues at the port, actually, in China. and because of COVID, not all employees they can access to the port. So meaning that embarking and disembarking and everything, the containers, then it's taking a longer time. Uh, and is it still there? Do you have still difficulties actually to bring things somewhere? And do you have special issues with Bahrain? Is it difficult, the logistic situation?
Yeah, I can answer this. So yes, the logistics prices have gone up. That's one thing. The second thing, when I was talking about bringing materials to remote areas, it's not about transporting them internally, but then to source them becomes a problem, because in a solar installation, let's say 80 components are involved, out of which you find hardly 10 components available in Bahrain, and the remaining has to be sourced from outside. So the transportation cost now hits us badly. For example, the transformers, you'll have to bring them from outside, and Huawei inverters for that matter, of course, it comes. And there's one more thing there. The panels that are registered with the solar panels that are registered with EVA are not the bigger ones. Now, in market, we are dealing with 540 watt peak panels, and EVA does not have much of options for us. They have very limited. So I think that is what I was trying to explain. So we are limited with the resources for solar installation in Bahrain.
Ah, I see. So okay, now I understand better. So Kartik, I mean, this is what you see. You see, when I said that this was your commitment, actually, the delivery, but obviously this is only for your components. Actually, it's true. It's not the whole system components. But I don't know. Actually, can you provide the whole thing? Are you distributors of I don't know, like main equipments, or like a special
Sure.
package, highway package? I don't know.
Yeah, sure. So
Mm.
as a Huawei, we can provide, as I mentioned to you, end-to-end solutions starting from PV optimizer, inverters, the battery energy storage that should be launched soon for the C&I application, and that comes with the monitoring platform. But when you talk about the PV system, completely we operate the channel business through channel partners, which we have in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. So with the help of our channel partners, we can give the end-to-end package, including structures, cables, all the end-to-end solutions for the PV system. So that will, I think, address your concerns, Kumar. So I think way forward we can, work. I mean, there are channel partners which are already available in the market where they provide end-to-end solutions.
Yeah, Kartik, I knew you had the solution. Okay, great, Oscar. This is a challenge for you also when you look at different projects, having the right, you know.
One more thing, since
Mm.
Karthik is here. Karthik, what's your interest on the hybrid systems, battery systems? Because more inquiries are also for battery systems. They're not
Yes.
bigger systems like maybe 20 kilowatt, 30 kilowatt, but then they want battery backups.
Yes.
So what's your input on that? What can
No,
you do about?
as I mentioned to you, we have a battery energy storage currently available for the residential market, and we have launched recently for the utility scale application. As you see, we backed one of the largest project in Saudi, which is Red Sea, with around 1.3 gigawatt hour on the utility scale application. Now, as I mentioned to you, for the C&I application, we'll be launching very soon for the battery energy storage. I believe that will even add more value, in terms of reliability of the system itself, and that can helps consumer to bring down the payback period.
Okay, feel free, if you have other questions to each other or whatever. So please, Oscar. So do you see that do you have all equipments available? I mean, there is the highway solution, which is there, and I don't know. Have you installed the highway modules or systems already? And do you feel that there is some constraint and to achieve actually the lowest LCOE and be free to use all equipment that you need?
I'm not in a position to answer this question because I'm not very technical. So I rather, I think Huawei was the best person to answer that question.
No, I mean, yeah, but as a system integrator, but that's fine. And in terms of PPA, so are you currently negotiating some PPA actually in the country, or what's the model? Because so far, I mean, sometimes the market starts with, EPC framework with
Yes.
some groups which wants to, see what a small system, can do. And then
Yes.
quickly it moves on to the PPA model because
Yes.
people are more familiar with solar and they can see that,
Correct.
oh, fine, I give you my roof, please do whatever
Correct.
you need, and I don't want to have any concern. So what's the situation today? Are you negotiating PPA or it's this EPC framework?
No, so we do. I mean, we do. Work with such as Ibrahim. Sometimes he has clients that are looking at EPC, and then they change their mind to to have an OPEX PPA with us. So we do work with EPC companies quite a lot. I just want to share a screen maybe as well with you guys, just to give you an idea the difference. What is EPC and PPA? Is that okay, Karim?
Yeah, sure.
So here you can see the difference. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
So just so for the audience as well, so they can see it, they might as well take a picture of the screen or something. So you have EPC and then you have PPA. You can see EPC, obviously, they do their own investment. PPA, they no upfront investment required from our clients. Savings is immediately with PPA since they're not investing anything, and EPC savings is there's some payback period, usually I don't know, about 8 years or so. I'll not mention all of that. I'm sure that people can see it for themselves. I'm not saying one is right, one is correct. It's really what the customer is looking for. And we've been working with or trying to work with Ibrahim as much as possible, and we help each other. Should the customer have a PPA or prefers an EPC, that's up to the customers, and we are happy to help in any regards.
Okay, great. And so, I mean, the question is for everyone here, and you just feel free to add anything to make your comments. This is based on the availability for banks actually to provide loans, either for their traditional customers because they want the EPC model, so they will basically raise money from their bank, just to get a loan, or based if it's a PPA, then they should be familiar with the project company framework and having this loan there. So obviously, at first, I understand that you start full equity based on full equity if it is on the PPA model. Whereas if it's for EPC, then from time to time they may it's important to have an attractive financing scheme from local banks. So do you see that actually this is are the banks involved? Do you have like special financing product for solar? Are they aware of that?
I can answer this question. In Bahrain, I think the authority has been working with banks, and banks has shown a lot of interest for the last maybe 3 years now. Actually, I think there is a slow, move into the financing as a whole from the bank perspective. We have two banks, I think, NBB and BBK. They are financing small, scales really that go into the rather than commercial or industry. They go onto the residential type of thing. Whereas if the companies the industry wants to go and have a finance, they will go on the traditional way. It's like a mortgage. You have to mortgage the land. So I think there is a good opportunity now for the bankings to uplift. Luckily we have the APP options like Yellow Door that they come with a turnkey solution. They could provide the finance. Rather than this, they will, they will go even, analyzing and technically support the system. So the option, I would say, is available, yet to be, bigger and bigger in the future.
Just to add to this, maybe to Ibrahim, there, I heard as well there are one or two banks that are offering this solution. However, the customer must also think, about the maintenance. If anything goes wrong, there's no one to replace them. There's no one to look after it. So it's just added cost to the customer, going with a bank. So it's really up to the customer's preferable choice, obviously.
Okay, and what about the insurance on the rooftop? Is it well developed also? Because you do have sometimes issues and concern that will it increase my insurance premium, or what if there is anything wrong on my roof because of the solar system, and then I have to pay whatever. So do you have also a proper insurance framework in Bahrain which takes appropriately solar into their policies?
Um, I think we are a little bit struggling in this area. The insurance companies, still, I think they have good way of, accommodating this. In some of the projects that we do have, we struggle, and then, the general awareness in that perspective, I think, yet to be developed in Bahrain. Although there is a good, I would say, spread. Therefore, I think with the time, I think this will be, coming on board. But at the moment, it's a little bit difficult.
Okay, and Kartik, that this is what you see. I mean, so first of all, I mean, first of all, I can see that we can see that you are, I would say, a solution provider also, meaning that you are providing, your equipment, but also you can, integrate the whole package and help your clients actually to, move to solar basically. Are you also, helping the because you have the experience and you are covering the market? Are you also involved in some committees that are set up to let's say covering the different aspects of solar, for example, insurance? I don't know how it works actually in Bahrain. Are there people which are who are asking experienced companies like yourself, like, okay, what do we need to develop solar, etc., and then are you participating in this evolution? Are you talking to insurance, for example, or do you?
Not really. As a solution provider, we'll be focusing on the performance of the equipment itself, which gives more assurance of the whole PV system. But when it comes to the financial model,
Okay.
on terms of insurance, no, we don't involve into that.
And in terms of maintenance, are you also providing maintenance services or only
No,
equipment?
no.
And
But we can offer the extended warranty because our inverters, our equipment comes with standard warranty. Let's say for inverters is 5 years. If customers would like to opt for the additional warranty, yes, we can cover it up to maximum 25 years.
and then you are working with local companies then to first of all for the construction, and secondly for maintenance. Do you have your, I would say, network of agreed somehow subcontractors or contractors, or this is up to the clients to choose?
This is up to the clients because, as you see here in Bahrain market, there is a list of regulated vendors. I mean, in terms of contractors and consultants, so we have to stick with that.
Okay, understood. And so question for Siva Kumaran regarding maintenance. So I don't know how the capacity installed actually currently in Bahrain, but I guess you do have already some systems where the maintenance is active and you have already noticed some issues and etc. So what's the kind of issues that we see in Bahrain for the maintenance, and also do you have a proper maintenance contract. For example, I don't know, digital services like Kastik actually mentioned, like quite sophisticated now. Huh? You have quite
Yes.
sophisticating
Yeah.
systems actually, huh, to monitor the plant, etc. Very, very useful and very efficient. So
Yeah.
do you see that actually? How do you? Yes, you can tell us more
Yes,
about the.
so when a plant is installed, it is definitely being monitored online and seeing the performance of the plant, checking the performance ratio. We know when it has to be cleaned. Most of the time, cleaning is what maintenance is all about in solar because there's no moving parts, so it's just about cleaning and keeping your solar panels clean. It's all about the maintenance, but also when it comes to the inverters and the electrical terminations in that, we also need to have to a preventive maintenance. So what we do to our customers is we sign a annual maintenance contract with the customer, and most of the time when there is a sandstorm or any such event, then uh, the annual maintenance contract says, okay, this plant has to be visited every 15 days and it has to be cleaned and checked for heat signs in terminations. And also with the inverter, we check the fuses. And then Huawei bigger inverters, we don't have fuse. It's a fuseless design. It's easy to maintain the inverter. So in
Absolutely.
such cases, we don't do much with the inverter. But again, there are DC combiner boxes. There are kilometers of cables running. So we'll have to take machineries to the site to clean the carports. So we plan 15 days once, generally, and some natural things, calamities can disturb our plan. Like there's a sandstorm in between, then we do go 1 day later after that, and then we clean the solar panels. But in solar, the maintenance is mostly about cleaning the solar panels and checking the electrical connections and nothing more than that. But we do sign an annual maintenance contract with the customer after the plant is installed.
And is it like there are a few things. One is preventive maintenance,
Yep.
then corrective maintenance, but
Yes.
also you may have some performance guarantee. And
Yes.
also, what about the spare part? Do you provide such complicated contracts, like including the spare part, and also you guarantee some kind of performance ratio or whatever, or not yet
Yep.
there?
Yes. When we take up annual maintenance contract, we promise for a certain performance, and we promise for certain number of units in a year, and we try to achieve that from that plant. And for maintaining the spares, yes, we do maintain some spares in the customer's premises, and apart from that, we'll be costing them at our actuals. So yeah, that's how it is
Okay.
done.
Okay, interesting. So I don't know how long we have, Anan. I think
Uh,
we can have a
yes,
wrap
yes,
up, or what's a.
yes, sir. We have like 10 minutes, so there are a few questions also. If you can go ahead with that. So should I
Okay.
share the questions on screen?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So here's the first question.
Yes.
It's a good question. For example, in the UAE, indeed, with the Shams program, it's a program called Shams where you have a net metering system. Today, batteries are not, the battery market is not well developed because actually the grid is the battery. So, what's what about Bahrain actually, or what's your view on that?
Bahrain, like battery comes into picture if you are inside the desert and you don't have a grid connectivity. So, compared to other installations in Bahrain, we don't have much of. There's no power cuts at all. So, net metering is much better and beneficial than going for a battery module because, as you said, batteries are not well developed now, and batteries are an expensive way of installing the solar system. So it's better to go with the net metering, and it will be cheaper that way.
Yeah, although I remember actually we had a webinar in Israel, and in Israel actually you have issues with the grid. And if I remember correctly, the government was looking at battery systems installed at the customer's site actually to avoid congestion on the grid. But I guess we're not yet there in Bahrain, right? Still, the market has to
Yeah. We are not at
yes,
there
yes.
in Bahrain. We are not at there.
Okay, next question, or if anyone wants to
Yes.
add something. Ah, yes. So if anyone wants to answer.
I believe
I'm
sorry.
unfortunately I'm not familiar with residential, so we only targeting industrial and commercial clients. So I'm not sure about private villa.
I can answer this question. I think you could take it from 2 points of view. It might be the payback period for your residential area, okay, residential component or villa. Okay, the payback periods go exceeded maybe 15 to 20 years. It's depend on really the size also of the villa, because the residential has its own tariff shares, or it's increase. It's not fixed as a free fills. So as you consume more, you will be charged more. So having understanding of the consumption pattern, and how much is it, it might be economically viable. This is one option. It might be not. So you may decide that, well, I will not go for it because it's the payback period is exceeding 15 years. The other angles that you could look at it, I will pay the money by anyway. I will pay the money for you. Why I don't pay the money in a way that I am investing it for myself? And by the way, in the future, we definitely feel that this tariff will increase. So it's really, an optional, and situational whether this is going to be viable or no, and how you look at it.
Okay. So and
Yes.
then
This is the last question, sir.
It is just a small point because I have experienced this. It is also about the aesthetics of the villa. So there are two types of clients who want solar panels on the roof just to showcase them for aesthetic benefits, and there's the other side who wants to have them because they want to see the go green factor of going solar. And apart from that, like as sir said, the um, return on investment is calculated at 12, 15 years. So it's up to the customer or the person who owns the villa to have it or not. But that's not the case with the other tariff.
Thank you, sir. So we have one more question.
yeah, how is this? No. Come back to this previous
Okay.
section because
Okay.
Siva
Okay.
Kumar was, answering
Answering
to
the
the
previous one.
previous
Okay.
question. So, I mean, this one is, I guess, if it's a question like to understand the remark which was said about the fact that if the tariff is increased, then the saving percentage is changed, because if you have the same area and the same system, uh, if you have a tariff, electricity tariff, so you pay 29, for example,
Yep.
and your system, the PPA, so the power purchase agreement, so basically the electricity which is sold by, for example, Yellow Door to a consumer, the price of this electricity will be below 29. So today, Yellow Door is saying that not every, because obviously you need to have the design and everything and make sure that it works fine. It depends on the size of the system. But basically, if you are an industrial company and you have a rooftop of, I don't know, where you can install 1 megawatt, today, if you go with Yellow Door, you will pay less than what you pay to the utility. Okay, so you pay less by maybe 10% or 15% or 20%. Okay, now if you don't pay 29, but 39, for example, and which will be probably the case in the future, that electricity tariff may increase. That's due to inflation, but also the need for new investment on the grid and so on. So if tomorrow it's 39, actually Yellow Door will not increase the price because the price of solar is based on solar systems and components, etc. So which are actually, the tendency is to decrease, over time. Now, at a point in time, maybe it will not decrease further, it will stabilize. But for now, we are in the decreasing trend, although this year you had an increase because of COVID and the difficulty to actually get equipment, and plus raw material. So you have some shortage actually in the market. So the price of equipment can increase, but these are conjunctural events. I would say long-term trend is a decrease and maybe a stabilization of this equipment, because it's not only raw material but efficiency of solar panels and so on. We can see that Highway has very interesting product. The capacity of the solar modules, before it was 100 watt, now 200, 300, now it's 600 watt, and so on. Okay, so you have this tendency, and so the price of solar is not based on investment policy or whatever. It's based on the price of equipment plus some kind of return, acceptable return. So that's why this tariff will be like that for 20 years, whereas actually the tariff that you pay to the utility may increase over time. So if it is increasing further, it means that the saving, which were before 10 to 20% compared to 29, if it's compared to 39, then the saving will be much, much higher. And that's most probably what you need to factor when you are calculating your return, that actually over time you may have some electricity price which are higher, and therefore your savings will increase over time.
Yeah, I think this payback period will comes down drastically.
Sorry?
That's spot on, Karim.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Okay. Okay, so well, I just okay, I will let you answer. Just maybe one comment, because it's very common. This is the difference between price to consumers and cost of production of electricity. You see, the cost of production of the electricity, which are at the solar projects level, it's based basically on equipment and return, and that's it. Whereas actually the price to consumers from the utility is based on many things. You have tax, you have investment in grids, you have investment in production, you have everything. It's even a political tool, actually. Ibrahim mentioned that prices before were completely subsidized, so it's completely unrelated to the market situation, whereas actually the solar project is purely based on the market and the regulatory framework. I mean, sometimes there are some subsidies and so on in tax or whatever, but it's a market price. So that's why you have a difference between actually the solar project, which can be lower actually over time, and although it is lower and the penetration of solar increasing, then you can still see actually an increase in the tariff to consumers. That's what you see in Europe, for example. So, I mean, if you want to explain the situation in Bahrain, for example, what you see, what tariff will increase, or I don't know.
Well, I think the answer for this question is yes. Simply yes.
Clear. Okay. This was the last question.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So we are also about time. So
I want to make a comment, Karim.
Yes. Let's do. I mean, if you want, everyone, each of you make a small, conclusion. Then I will do a small wrap up also.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So, Siva Kumar was talking about the capacity and the technical capabilities. There is a scarcity of solar engineers. Okay, there is, a scarcity in terms of, capable and qualified people. Being local company and in the market for a very long time, I believe we have a tap into many talent, Bahraini talent, that they are, very interested in the market. We are training them, and they are really ready to be deployed in any company in Bahrain or Saudi Arabia. So we are very happy to support any company that want to have Bahraini talent in the solar system. They are fully trained. They are, capable of doing, solar system design in terms of from design up to operation and maintenance. My colleague now, Ayman, will post a note or a survey because we know that there is a problem like this. Any interested company can go and register in this survey, and we will be happy to, to support, because we look at this as a collective ecosystem. If there is no ecosystem around it, no people around, in the developer, into the commercial, into the subcontractors, all of them, they don't have capabilities or understanding, it will be very highly to scale up the solar system. So capacity building is mandatory. So hopefully any company want our support, please just register the survey, and we will support you with energy efficiency as well as solar engineers.
Great.
I would like to say thank you to you, Karim, and for the sponsors and for Solar Quarter, and just some last words. Act now, I think, is the word. Don't wait for your customer or for your neighbors to do solar. I think it's important that you act now, and the sooner you act, the better for you and for the environment. And thank you for today. Thank you.
So I would like to add point here. Thank you, gentlemen, for this wonderful, insightful panel discussion. Thanks, Mr. Karim, and thanks every speaker here. So I would like to, convey the message to the audience here to please feel free to contact the other expertise in the industries who can give the right solution to your the concerns which you're trying to adapt the solar PV system in your residential or the industries whom you're working with. So please feel free to that.
Thank you, Kartik.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you, and nice talking to you, Mr. Karim, and the other panelists here. And it was nice sharing our insights, and let's work together, hoping to improve the solar business, solar market in Bahrain. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very very much, everyone, for this very insightful sessions. We learn a lot. I mean, thanks to you about the market in Bahrain. So really, thank you everyone. So it's very interesting, very much detailed, and it's very very good to always speak to with good professionals of the sector who has a very interesting and long-term vision actually, and plus the expertise and experience. So it's very enjoyable actually. So thank you everyone. And I understand that the market is at the beginning. So we understand that the market is at the beginning, but the potential is there. But what I noticed is that, and you do have some challenges. I mean, regulatory framework must evolve. FIT should be there. Plus utility and insurance should be more involved. Consumers need to be more confident in the technology and so on. But at the same time, what we can take from this session is that now solar is price is below actually the price provided by the utility. So there is no reason why industrial customers actually will not go for solar. It's they're basically they will earn money in doing so. Now the maybe you are concerned about maybe they are concerned about the technical specificities. It's a new thing. I have not now electricity produced on my roof basically, but what I heard is that there is Ibrahim, there is Shivak Mahan, there is Kartik. So actually, you just take the emails of these four gentlemen here, and your PV system will be tomorrow on your roof, and you will earn money starting from tomorrow. So, so there's absolutely no reason why, there's no limit. And let's hope for the best and see the market in Bahrain, improving and increasing over time. So thank you, everyone, and Anand, thank you very much for this session, and yeah, and the sponsor also. Oh wait,
Thank you, Karim. Thank you, the sponsor. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very much
everyone.
to our
Thank
Thank
esteemed
you.
you so
panel.
much for having it.
Thank you, Anat Kumar. Really appreciate your
Thank you.
organization.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, all the panelists for this wonderful session, and a very special thanks to Kareem sir for superbly managing the session. Thank you, everyone, for extending your time and support for this event. We promise you to come back with more exciting topics very soon. The floor is now open for networking. Thank you very much.
guys, thank you.
Thank you